about these two kids who they have never seen their grandparents before because there's something that happened with the mother and them in the past. Their mom hasn't seen them in years either, and the grandparents finally decided that they want to meet their grandchildren, even though they and their daughter have a very weird relationship where they haven't seen each other for years. So basically these two kids go to their grandparents' house for an entire week. There's a girl and a boy, and they're both kind of keeping a documentary of this experience at their grandparents' house because the daughter is a aspiring filmmaker. And basically this entire movie is the girl's documentary. And as you probably know by the trailers, some weird stuff starts to happen, especially around 9:30. The grandparents are very weird, and the grandmother kinda goes a bit crazy after 9:30, so that's a thing that happens. So as you guys probably know by this point, this movie is directed by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, as I like to call him, and he has made some really great movies. But as time went on, I'm sure you all know that he went downhill and downhill and downhill. He went from making The Sixth Sense to stuff like Last Airbender and After Earth and really bad movies like that. But I did review The Sixth Sense like a week ago. I said it was incredible, and I still stand by that. It's one of my favorite movies of all time now. In anticipation for The Visit, I watched some more of his earlier films, like Signs, Unbreakable, and The Village. Unbreakable was amazing, Signs was really good, and The Village was okay. It was decent. So I was really hoping that The Visit would be a comeback for Mr. Shyamalan, and it was! I really, really enjoyed The Visit. I mean, most people are just calling this a decent movie. I actually think it's kind of amazing. I really, really love this movie. It's one of my favorites of the year right now. So let's go through the characters and performances first. The grandmother. Holy crap. She is by far the scariest part of this movie. The grandmother is freaking terrifying. She's probably the best performance in this movie because she's just an old woman and she has to do all this crazy stuff. Like, the actress is probably just a normal old woman and she has to do all this crazy horror stuff and run around and crawl around and do really freaky things and all that. The grandfather in this movie is also really terrifying. Not as creepy as the grandma, but he's just terrifying because of how insane he is. If I had this guy as my grandfather, I'd never want to be around him ever. He is so freaky and he's really aggressive at times, and he doesn't go insane after 9:30 like the grandma does, but he's already insane. Not as insane as the grandma, but he's a pretty insane, messed up guy. The daughter first, who's the older sibling, she is really good. The kids in Shyamalan movies are usually really good. Except for Signs, the kids weren't too good in that, but usually in Shyamalan movies, the kids are really good, especially The Sixth Sense. And the daughter was very realistic. I was very impressed by her performance, especially because she's a kid, and she was really good. But even better than the daughter is the son, who's younger than her. What this movie really gets right is comedy and suspense and tension and horror, crazy horror stuff all put together. And what am I even talking about? But basically, this isn't all scary horror stuff. The scary horror stuff is very good, but there's also a lot of comedy in this movie, especially from the younger kid. I was cracking up several times during this movie because this kid is so good in this movie. He is going places. Yes. This is probably one of the best kid actors I've seen because of how hilarious and realistic he was at the same time. And also the mother. She doesn't get as much screen time as the kids or the grandparents do. I apologize for that. She doesn't get as much screen time as the kids or the grandparents do, but while she's there, she's really good and realistic. So as for the found footage, sort of thing with this movie, I thought it worked very well. The movie is found footage, I really feel like I'm there, more than any other movie. I really felt like I was actually with the kids, because it's just really realistic and stuff, you know? And since the kids and the grandparents and the mother are all such good actors, that also helps with the sense that you are there and this could really happen. Because everyone in this movie is so realistic. The chemistry between the two kids is great. That's how I used to always act with my siblings. The chemistry between them worked so well, and that also helped the realisticness of this movie. And also, this movie is mostly lead up to the very scary stuff. I mean, there is some scary stuff as the movie goes on. You're always, like, sort of on edge, and you want to know what happens next with the entire movie. But it's really the climax that's the really scary stuff. The movie is really leading up to that. There's some really freaky stuff there, but it's not until the end where it gets really scary and really terrifying. The climax of this movie is so suspenseful. This is possibly one of the most suspenseful sequences of a movie that I have ever seen. And that's really saying something, because Spielberg has some really suspenseful stuff. And honestly, when I was done this movie, like, I was playing Mario Maker all night after this movie because I got the game, and I was basically playing it all night, and then I had to go upstairs in the dark, and I was literally, like, looking around, oh, is the grandma there? Is the grandma gonna get me? Oh no. I literally felt like the grandma could be in the room. I just hear a noise and it's like, oh, is that you? Because this movie is the most scary movie Shyamalan has ever made. Sixth Sense definitely had some terrifying scares, but nothing as scary as this. And also the twist in this movie is so good. Not as good as The Sixth Sense, but I think this is probably the second best twist that Shyamalan has made. Oh, wait, there's Unbreakable too, though. I'm obviously not gonna say what the twist is, but it is fantastic. Some people might see it coming, but I didn't, luckily. And it's a great twist. And as for the flaws I have with this movie, I only have one big flaw. It's that I mentioned how a lot of this movie is just lead up to the really scary stuff. I feel like the pacing drags a little bit during that lead up or whatever. There are times when I'm just like, okay, can stuff happen now? I want to see stuff happen. Stop sitting around and talking to your camera. That's not like an unbearable problem, it's just a small problem I encountered a few times. And that's really my only problem with this movie. I really like The Visit. This is a great, scary, funny movie. So I'm gonna give The Visit an A-. I honestly liked it that much. M. Night Shyamalan is back, everybody. And I really hope he makes more great movies, like his earlier movies and this. He just needs to stick to horror. I think he shouldn't try to do sci-fi like After Earth or anything. He should just stick to horror stuff, because that's what he's good at. So guys, if you like this video, be sure to like it, be sure to subscribe, be sure to like me on Twitter. No, I meant follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Would you mind climbing into the oven to clean it?